Welcome again. It's Reverend Andrew Blake here from Serana Institute. And I want to welcome you to the second in our series of resources for caregivers. Whether you're working in a hospital setting, in a palliative care, hospice, or you're working in a long-term care setting, these resources are really inner skills that we hope will help inform you to create your ability to sustain yourself in the work and prevent what we call empathy fatigue and burnout, which is such a common experience within our healthcare and caregiving fields. Today, I'd like to explore another set of skills, where we root ourselves in what we call presence and develop healthy empathy. And the skill that we'll explore in that is inner-outer listening. So let's just think for a moment about what presence really means. In the first series, we explored grounding and how do we ground ourselves by pausing, bringing ourselves into the present moment. So once we're in the present moment, we develop presence, and presence is like opening up to our full awareness of our whole experience, which includes a relational field of understanding, both what's happening within myself, but also what's happening to those around me. When I'm present, I'm opening my awareness to understand the whole picture, both a physical, an emotional, a mental, even a spiritual level of understanding what's happening, both within my cells and with others around me. So through that capacity for presence, then, I'm more able to attune. And this attunement is what I want to explore in this short video. From our attunement with others, we experience empathy. And most of the time when we experience empathy, it's not a regulated form of empathy. It's what we call automatic empathy. In the work of Tanya Singer from the Max Planck Institute, she talks about how there's two kinds of empathy. Empathy that we automatically feel through the limbic system of the brain, and then a top-down from the neocortex, a kind of knowing that we're experiencing empathy. And this is what we're looking at as the difference between healthy and unhealthy empathy. Caregivers become fatigued because of an overstimulation, because we're actually overly empathic. And we actually don't even have control on it. Without attentional or mindful awareness, we can be feeling too much of what's happening in our environments. And this is what leads to burnout. So healthy empathy then is when we can bring mindfulness into that field of attention and bring awareness to what we're experiencing. And we call that in our training, we call this inner-outer listening or self-other attunement. What we're learning here is to be aware of what's happening to us while we're in stressful situations, when we're exposed to the suffering of others. And to see how empathy works within us, what's happening in our own body, and then to be able to slow that down or ground that inner experience of what we're feeling, the felt sense from others, and then increasing our sensitivity and empathizing more deeply to what's happening to those around us. In her work, Tanya Singer again says that when you experience sadness, when another person is sad, then you will experience that sadness within yourself. But having sympathy or empathic concern or compassion for another person is different. And we'll explore some of those differences in the next video. So today I'd like to just look at this idea of inner-outer listening, this self-other attunement, being able to be present to our own experience while at the same time opening ourselves to the experience of another. So I'd like to practice this skill in a simple way. And again, we use experiential exercises as a way to share how these tools work. So if you can close your eyes if you like, and I recommend it for this exercise, because we'll be contemplating on an experience for a moment. As you pause, again, we use the grounding skill. Pay attention, really root yourself. Feel yourself comfortably seated in your chair. Adjust your posture just a little bit so it can be comfortable. Take a moment to relax the shoulders and take a deep breath and allow the muscles in the body just to soften and relax. You can place your feet both flat on the ground, and this will help create a bit of stability for this short contemplation. As you take a deep breath in and out, allow your attention to turn inward. Here we create this inner awareness. And breathing in and out, just come home to the body, come home to the present moment, and just notice how you are in this moment. Without judging it, just notice. And then with your inner awareness, and I would like you to bring to mind a situation in your life from recently, from work or from your home, when somebody else was in distress. Could have been a child, a patient, even a coworker, but an experience of somebody else's suffering. Someone close to you that you can just connect, or an experience really fresh. And as you bring the situation to mind, immediately notice what happens in your own body and what was the form of suffering that you're attending to right now. Was it sadness or fear, anger, anguish? Just for a moment, just notice what happens in your body as you recall this experience with another. Empathy is felt in the body. Just notice. Do you notice any changes in your breathing? Anything happening in your body physically? Again, allow yourself to extend your awareness to really feel into what was the suffering that this person was experiencing. Here we use our capacity to connect with and notice what the other's inner experience is. But empathy is also noticing and feeling those feelings within ourselves. We can even see this in a simple way. When we think of when a child or we hear a cry, we immediately feel that pang within our own bodies when we feel the suffering of another. Now just letting that go, bring your attention back out. And I'd like to invite you to practice this skill a little bit in your life, to really notice the next time you're in a situation where there might be a strong feeling, is to notice how does that land within your body. We practice inner-outer listening, inner-outer attunement as a way to distinguish between our own experience of empathy. When we feel another person's sadness, we'll feel that sadness within our bodies. But what it can do from time to time is activate some of our own feelings. And this is what we work with in our skills as we develop these training, is learning how to attune when we might be reacting, or some emotional situation can set off what we call a cascade. Because empathy, the main form of empathy, is we attune to our own experience of something in order to understand another person's feelings, which can activate some of our own emotions and bring them to the surface. So again, we come back to pausing and grounding then in our empathy as a strategy and a way to keep us attuned with the other and more present. So I hope this introduction to inner-outer listening again adds another tool in your array of skills that you can draw upon to keep yourself grounded and present in your work and in your lives. Be well.